Hi everyone! When you think about someone who is powerful, who do you think about? Is it Spider-Man or Superman or Batman because they have superpowers? Or would it be a teacher or your dad or an older sibling because they can help you make decisions? Or would it be like King Charles III in England because he's someone of high position? See, in the Bible, it tells us that God is powerful. In fact, it tells us that no one is like God. See, in the book, in 1 Samuel, chapter 2, verse 2, it reads, "No other God is like you." See, we're going to look into 1 Samuel, and today we're going to learn about a woman named Hannah, who is Samuel's mum, and she knew that God is powerful, and she prayed to God. Let's see what she prayed about.
Long before the Israelites had kings, God raised up prophets to lead his people. God would speak to his prophets, and the prophet would tell the people what God said. The book of 1 Samuel begins with the birth of a prophet, and we find the story about his birth in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 1. Each year, God's people, the Israelites, would travel to a special place. There they would pray and offer gifts of animals to God as payment for their sin. One day, a woman came with her husband to offer gifts to God and to pray. The woman's name was Hannah, but Hannah was very upset. She was upset because she was unable to have a baby. Now, Hannah's husband had another wife as well. The other wife had many children. The other wife would make fun of Hannah. She had so many children, and Hannah had none. So Hannah went into God's special meeting tent. Hannah cried out to God. She cried out to God because he is good. And she cried out to God because he is the king of everything. Hannah was so upset. Even though her mouth moved, no sound came out. She asked God to give her a son. Then Hannah made God a promise. If God gave her a son, when the boy was old enough, she would give him back to God to work alongside Eli, the priest. Eli the priest saw Hannah's mouth moving, but no words were coming out. He thought she was drunk. But Hannah told Eli she was not drunk. She was just very upset. Eli was kind to Hannah and prayed that God would give her what she asked. God heard Hannah's prayer and he gave her a son. She called her baby boy Samuel. Hannah kept her promise to God. Samuel grew and grew and grew and grew. And when he was old enough, she brought him back to God's special tent to work for God under Eli. Then Hannah went home. But God was kind to Hannah. God gave Hannah 3 more sons and 2 daughters as well.
Hannah was devastated. She couldn't have any children. She cried out to God because he is good. She cried out to God because God is the all-powerful King. God heard her prayer and gave her more than she could ever imagine. Children, if you love and follow Jesus, he is your good and powerful King. So pray to your good and all-powerful King who can do more than you could ever ask or imagine.